Before I even begin speaking, know that I do not condone, wish upon, or want any negative behavior or the attack on anybody mentioned in this video. There may be triggering topics mentioned throughout this video, so proceed with caution. If there is anything I feel I won't be good at describing, I'll provide you with someone who can describe it in the description. You know, I was incredibly hesitant to make this. I haven't made a rant, or rather an awareness video, in about a year, and the last one was incredibly horrible and I regret ever making it. Regardless, this is something I really didn't want to make to avoid drama, in heavy quotations, and further prove a faulty point by the opposing side. But JackTheWolf2189, also known as RulliantPine on other platforms, has been consistently slandering my name, and I feel the need to speak up for myself. I'll try not to get angry, I promise. First, I feel I should start with a statement he posted into a public server, along with putting it into a highlight on his Instagram to let others know my wrongdoings. It was brought to my attention by an old mutual. I'll be reading the paragraph and defending myself as I go. Rant coming soon. I'm tired of them getting away with shit, so I'm going to speak up. So I don't know if anyone knows the username that goes by Coyote Town on almost every platform. They decided to use me to do stuff for them long time ago, and now they don't care what their friends do to others. Like one time I had to leave the internet because my personal information was probably leaked by my sister, and told them I'm leaving. They told their friends, and one was being weird, saying if it was nudes or my address, and I told them to stop, but they were like, I'm going to find your address and go to you, in a threatening way. I told Skylar about how one of their friends was making me uncomfortable, and all they said was to take it as a joke, which is the most stupidest response ever, as my life was on the line just to joke about it. Well, for starters, this is off the bat incredibly disrespectful to me personally. The fact your information is actually not leaked, but probably. I have been threatened to be swatted, I have been doxxed several times, and constantly cyber harassed over these past few years, but you think I'm being inconsiderate of your information probably being leaked. Okay then. Also, I brought it up to my friends because you had just told me and I thought it was strange. In a way that, oh my gosh, this is horrible, how could this happen? He sent it to me when I was on a call with said friends and I told them. Only that you were leaving the internet and your situation, nothing else. Regarding my friend messaging you something like that, I don't condone what they may have said to you, nor do I find it funny. In the same regard that this happened over a year ago and that person's sense of humor has grown and they find their old actions incredibly immature. Should they still be held accountable? Absolutely. Though, I feel this point is not significant to me at all, since it was my friend's actions and me poorly describing them, in the moment not being considerate to how you felt, since I can understand the fear in that moment. Whenever Skylar left the internet, when they were known as YXXKI, they joined an old server for an animation project I was doing, so I found their new username and it was the same one for Instagram. A few days later, the account was gone and their Discord username was different as well as the Instagram. I decided to follow it and then I got blocked and DM'd and accused for working with K, which I don't know their new name. I was furious when they accused me with working with K. Their reason for it is because I'm friends with Sashley, and since Sashley used to be friends with K, that's how the accusations happened. A few minutes later, their friend called me a creep for following them. I was pissed, especially since I was the one who decided to give a fuck about them. I'm going to be referring to the K person as Naomi since that is her name and I want to respect her pronouns, despite her repulsive actions on the internet. A video about her will be in the description, provided by Streamline Workshop. As shown in previous screenshots, I've unfortunately had to run into her various times and was harassed by her on more than one occasion. Though I don't associate with her anymore, referring to Sashley, Jack was at the time. And since we were on rocky terms and you were mutuals with Ash, I was under the assumption that you were trying to find my accounts on Naomi's behalf. Even so, I wanted a complete refresh. Reflecting on it, I truly believe me running from a situation was not mature of me whatsoever, and I kind of wish I confronted it beforehand, but that's not important right now. I wanted to get away from any connections to my old life on the internet, and unfortunately, you continuing to follow me wouldn't have let me accomplish that. I vented to my friend about the situation, who then thought you were following me in a stalkerish manner. Heavy quotations on that, by the way. So, they called you a creep. Once more, I'm not sure why you're holding me accountable for my friend's words, feelings, and actions. Just because I associate with them doesn't mean I agree with nor feel the way they do. I never would have understood your true intentions because I was pushing everyone out. I'm grateful that you had cared, but at the time, it seemed you had ill intent, and that's my bad. They came back a few weeks later, and I got my apology from them, or so I thought I did. I'd gotten a screenshot from someone showing that I was being used for hatred. The reason was, I didn't know you well, and the more we chatted, the more I realized you were a good person. Okay, sure, you gave your reason, but if you did that, there's no need to call me a close friend if I'm not treated like one. I'd like to say that the screenshot that person showed you, the one you posted on Twitter is the one I assume you're talking about, was over a year old at that point, summer of 2019 to be exact. This entire running from the internet thing I was pulling happened in April of 2020. And I wasn't using you for hatred. I just didn't really think you were a friend, just a mutual to talk to. A fan, if you will. I enjoyed your company, but I didn't see you as someone I would consistently hang out with, which I don't really think there's anything wrong with. And my response was 1,000,000% true. Once more, you were still just a fan to me, not a friend. I hardly knew anything about you other than the fact that you were a loyal follower and very much enjoy the content I created. I realized you were very much in fact a wonderful human being and regretted the unfortunate things I've said about you. And, as previously stated, I never called you my friend. And they stalked my account, all of them. Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, and so on, and it got me annoyed. I'd just like to say that this is blatantly false. I have no remembrance of this, and if you're referring to finding old comments or art that you've created, it was my friend's doing. I'd like to mention in the screenshot on Twitter, you said, an old friend of mine backstabbed me, and yet I have to be friends with them, otherwise his friends will go after my ass. My main friend group during this period doesn't like you. They never did, and they still currently don't. So your argument to stay my friend or other people would attack you is honestly invalid. So until I get proof that I've stalked genuinely all of your social media, I'm going to call this point false. I made a call-out post on Twitter, which they decided to say delete in a group chat, making the situation worse, trying to make them the victim. I said I will, but next time they need to say it in private, but they said, well, it was posted on publicly, so I can say here. Which, yeah, you're half right, but if you don't want to start drama, which you did, then talk about it in private. Then I called them out again for stalking. They left the group chat and removed me as a friend. As of right now, they are making people going against me, trying to make them the victim, and I'm tired of them getting away with hurting people and saying fake apologies. Now am I saying go attack them? No, I'm not going down to their level. You can follow them or block them, I don't care. Just be careful with them. They'll make you feel like shit. And how I feel, because all they do is ask for help whenever shit doesn't go their way. This fact is also blatantly false. After I confronted you in that group chat, you sent a picture of Freddy Fazbear 5 hours after I said something. You never said anything about me stalking you. I unfriended you after that and left that group chat because you're being immature about the situation when all along this could have been solved if you talked to me about your concerns of my actions and I would attempt to explain myself. Because then and only then would it actually be a private issue. You posted a screenshot of things I said shy of 2 years ago on a public forum for all of your followers to see, along with the huge paragraph we're currently talking about that you posted on your server, which at the time of recording this had 65 users. And not to mention, you posted all of this on your Instagram story with over 600 followers. So you getting upset at me for putting it in a group chat when, after the dust began to stir, you posted it everywhere? Kind of seems hypocritical. I don't know. Also, you saying that I was starting drama? No, not at all. I unfriended you because I don't want to associate with you anymore. You're the one who's bringing this up to be some big deal of actions I had almost 2 years ago, which I've grown as a person since then and regret the things I've done. This, however, does not mean I'm some perfect saint, but you're playing this as if the point you bring up happened in a time span of like 6 months. And I'll have you know, I've only talked to close friends about the situation. I was scared to bring my side to the light to avoid drama happening, actually. However, you've gone so far to make my blood boil at the things you're saying about me and blackening my name over, may I add, actions I did over a year ago. God, I sound like a broken record. I'd also like to add that almost every drama, I guess you could call it, the situation I'm involved in, I'm more likely than not painted as the bad guy. So you know what, I'm not trying to make myself the victim, but you're being incredibly childish and wanting so desperately to continue the cycle of what everybody does. It's so annoying and I want to speak up for myself for once because I'm like about to snap. Let me just say that I never in my life purposely want to bring anyone down nor make them feel like shit. It goes against my moral values. So if I ever do so, it's never intentional and I regret it immediately and will go to lengths to apologize if necessary. I'm only ever scary if you piss me off. One more thing, I don't ask for help whenever something doesn't go my way. Not every time anyway. I have hardly ever vented to you, but you willingly would help me whenever I posted things on my vent account, which I'll talk about more in the next section. So this slide you posted is kind of unnecessary, other than the fact that you're trying to continue to paint me as this horrible person. That's finally over. Though, there's still a lot more to cover. So, throughout all of this happening, I'd say a basic time span to include all of the actions mentioned is about over 2 years. Though, during the majority of this time, he would talk to me as if we were great friends and would do art trades with me, and even encourage me to draw things for him. Which, in the long run, he was probably only sticking around for my art. Speaking of which, as of typing this, he has my art as his icon on his OC adoption account, but removed all of the posts about me on his main account. So you'd think he would have forgotten about it, but he posted just 2 days ago, and the icon is still there. During this fabricated friendship, you asked me to play games with mutuals on more than one occasion, and came to me for help on things, like relationship advice and feelings of doubt. I may not be good at helping, but I still tried. I really wanted to put in the effort to make this friendship work, since I did genuinely care about you. Connect me to your friends to get amazing art, and ask me to call in that group chat and in DMs a significant number of times. Even just sending me OCs you've created to start a conversation, which normally would fail since I'm talking to other people or I'm stressed. It's unfortunately common. Though that doesn't mean I didn't want to talk to you. That goes for all of my friends, by the way. You're not some exception. This personally seems like very odd behavior for someone who really doesn't like me. You'd even go out of your way to indirectly vote yes on this poll for disliking me instead of coming to me personally about it. This isn't something that really directly affects me, but it does bother me a lot, and it needs to be said. There have been numerous occasions where Jack traces other people's or even my own art. There are times where he does it as a joke and acknowledges it, but more often than not, he traces bases, poses, and even very, very heavily references things. I don't have much to add here, so I'll just show you screenshots of what I'm talking about. With this next section, we're getting more into me not trying to be angry. So let's just get this over with. Also, explain this. You know what? Fine. Since you asked so nicely, I will explain it, Jack. They took a April Fool's joke seriously, like I was pretending to act like Kay for the funnies, but yeah, that wasn't good. And his friend Eli showed a lot of people my 12-year-old face, and it's And he also doxed my real names. That's swag. And they have old NSFW of my OC that I was forced to make by someone. Yeah, that's about it. No, R, it's not good. Naomi has harassed me so many times, and you knew how much she affected me, and how she was such a prevalent topic, and you pretending to act like her. It broke me, and I was so scared you're going to turn and attempt to harass me too, so I had every right to be scared. More of my friends doing things I don't condone. This I definitely don't agree with, and I'm glad Eli has changed for the better. Being in a situation like your own, I know why you're upset. But don't blame me for things that my friends have done. As previously stated, just because I associate with them does not mean I agree with their actions whatsoever. Plus, he never directly showed anyone. It was a small group of people. The ones you were friends with beforehand. That doesn't therefore make it right, but it's just factual. Also, that real name was your first name. I actually don't even know your name, but that's also on me having a bad memory during the heat of things. That whole NSFW thing, I'm sorry you were forced to make it, but that doesn't really concern me. I'm not really sure why you brought it up. The person who does still have your NSFW did not hunt for it. They were sent it out of nowhere by a completely random person who started talking about how they commit suicide to them. Besides, it's not really our fault it was sent to us. It's not something we can control. Not forgetting to mention, this argument is inherently valid because you did the same. Joined my server on the behalf of someone else, sent NSFW I drew, then left. So in the long run, you're just beating a dead horse since you did the same thing to me. Real quick, these are just screenshots I thought were important and should be included, but they didn't really fit into a section, so here. By the way, all of these screenshots will be in a Google Drive linked in the description. So, we finally come to a close. This was mainly something for myself, an outlet video. I've been keeping this quiet, but I just needed to bring attention to this. Not only for myself, but for all of you. If he feels the need to bring up things I've done and bash me on a well-followed platform, then I'll try my best to respond and warn others that Jack may not be possibly as great as a person as he's trying to make you believe. This doesn't mean he can't change, like I did. But this isn't an excuse his current immaturity towards the situation at hand. So, in the end, I thank you for watching, and I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day.